Well, hello everyone. This is the RockerPod Recap show for the first half of day two of Skate America. Oof. I have a lot to say. A lot to say. I am also in the midst of like everyone right now because we're in between sessions, and I'm just gonna do a little turnaround. This is what is happening right now. Okay, I'm just gonna do this as quickly as I can, but I have a lot to say, and we will talk about this more. I am sure Michelle and I will have plenty of opinions to have tomorrow night when I am somehow doing a podcast on the road. But we just watched a Paris free skate that was left a lot to be desired. Lake Placid, I guess, never fails to disappoint in some of the things that happens here. But Miura Kihara wins it with a 2:15.99. They skated generally very well. They just had an issue with their side-by-side combos where Miura put her foot down, and so that basically invalidated the rest of her combo. Had they not done that, they would have been a 147, 148. It would have been a much bigger score. But they skated very well otherwise. And then everything else happened. I'm going to throw it to Lorraine Etier with the second best program of the day, and they get a bronze medal. I'm sure very much a surprise bronze medal for them. And they must be incredibly happy with that. I will talk to them about that soon. I just literally just saw Paul Wiley walk by and give me a face. Vitelkina Barulova, silver medal, thanks a lot to the short program lead that they had. They ended up not only making mistakes on both of their side-by-side jumps, but they also didn't get an axle lift up. All of that cost them a good 20, 25 points, and that just kind of kicked them completely out of the top spot. They looked like they were incredibly disappointed, but there was just so much else that happened. Hake Kunko also couldn't get a lift up. Akapova Rachmanin fell on a pair spin where he had to cover his face in case her blade got to him on the camel spin. So many things happened. And we're just barely halfway through the competition. I am crossing my fingers that Lake Placid does not make this any worse than it already is. But that was the pairs for you. Miura Kihara winning with a 2:15.99. They qualified for the Grand Prix final. Vitelkina Barulova 195.73. They get a silver in addition to the gold that they got. Is that right? Am I right here? In addition to here we go. In addition to in addition to the gold that they got at Cup of China, that will that should put them into the Grand Prix final as well. That will put them into the Grand Prix final. So as expected, Miura Kihara, Vitelkina Barulova, they joined Conti Machi and Stellato Deschamps in the Grand Prix final. Next week, we'll tell the tale of the last two spots to be determined. Earlier today, we had the rhythm dance, which was, there was nothing disastrous about it, but there was a lot of strict calling. And I'm going to have to go back and rewatch what happened there with respect to the calls that happened. Not one team among those 10 teams got over a level 2 on anything in the pattern dance or the midline step sequence. So the scores were understandably, because of all that, much lower than what you would normally expect. Chalk and Bates won the rhythm dance comfortable lead, 7 points, with 84-77 over Le Dois Lega and Le Parier Rousseau, who are basically more or less tied. They're 0.6 of a point apart. 77-42 in second for Le Toile-Laga, 76-72 for Le Paris-Rousseau. So those are the second and third. Demujo and Le Mercier are fourth, in somewhat of a surprise, 73-47, and then Carrera, Parmarenko, they were completely like, I have no idea what happened to that score. Madison Hubble, their coach, also looked at them being like, what? Like, the eyes were wide open. There was a pattern step basic for them and two other teams here. So the basic level was given to multiple teams for their pattern step. I'm gonna have to go back and take a look. It did not look that imprecise from my angle, but there could be other things that were the case there. We know that the technical panel for this event was going to be difficult. It's known for their strict calls, and frankly, we had strict calls across the board. So at least we got that much. But you know, if you're looking to compare rhythm dance scores across competitions, I would advise that you don't, just because the panels were just so different. But that was the rhythm dance. It was a lot to deal with, but there were some interesting things about that one, namely Le Paris-Rousseau going with blue costumes for their blue rhythm dance after going red costumes. I asked them about that in the press conference, and Jeffrey basically was like, well, the boards at Cup of China were red, so we wore red, and it was blue here, so we wore blue. I think they like to be the contrarians. They literally said we love to be different, so I wouldn't be surprised if the red costumes came back just for the sake of them being like, we're gonna do something that you don't expect us to do. So we'll see what happens in the free dance. A lot is going to be on the line, frankly, especially for Le Toile-Laga and Le Paris-Rousseau trying to get into the Grand Prix final, both of them. They will need a really gigantic score to overtake Reed and Amber-Levichus. I really need more practice. Thanks, Saul, for them to overtake them, but that you're not going to make it to the Grand Prix final. It just means that Reed and Amber-Levichus are much more secure in that Grand Prix final spot. All right. Well, the pairs, I believe, right now are getting their medals over there somewhere, and I will be back later on today to recap the men and the women. We're halfway through the day. The press conferences are about to start after the medals are handed out, and I'm sure there will be plenty more that we're going to be talking about today. So talk to you again soon.